Assalamu alaikum. Uh, Good evening, everyone. So, welcome everyone to BASE Conference 2020. So, this is 2 days conference. Uh, First, I would like to say about BASE. So, Bengali Academia for Social Empowerment. BASE is an is a social is a developmental organization registered as a trust by a collective of academicians, scholars, professionals, and other like minded people working for community and social development. In the last couple of years, BASE has been doing groundbreaking work on various segments and is being regarded as one of the prestigious organizations in Bengal. BASE conference is an excellent initiative which aims to understand the marginal societies and issues. It tries to promote critical thinking on relevant subject and intends to develop language for democratic engagements. In 2019, BASE has successfully organized an international conference on the theme of Bengali Muslim at the crossroad and possibility and challenges. With with the rapidly changing societal context, BASE tried to academically engage and discuss various issues related to Bengali Muslim with a larger question of constitutional democracy, social equality, political and economic justice, as in the constitution in India. In 2020, the world is going through a pandemic. So in this time, BASE has done wonderful work for the community development. So I would not take much time on this topic. So I would request Professor Abdul Motin, Assistant Professor of Jadavpur University, to start the formal the process of this conference. So Professor Abdul Motin, over to you. Professor Motin?
Yeah. Good evening.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Hassan Bhai, for this, at least introductions and all. As you all know, BASE have been quite actively engaged in academic debates. On various issues, as Dr. Hassan rightly said about social justice, the issues of marginalizations, issues of democracy, and the questions of dignity for the marginalized community. Well, today's the theme of the conference is quite important. Base conference 2020. It's about the crisis and after society, culture, and the politics. And we have a very fascinating scholars, all upcoming scholars from JNU, from Central University of Gujarat, from Himachal Pradesh University, and from Bengal. We'll have a sort of brainstorming sessions on these issues, and this session will be chairing by Professor Manirullah. He's assistant professor at the Department of English at Presidency University, Calcutta. Well, let me just begin with two, three words. As many of us have gone through this Arundhati Roy's article, a pandemic as portal and a gateway to a new world. Well, it's true. Pandemic is also been a kind of an X-ray machine, which basically diagnosed our societal structures, the issues of public health, the issues of deep-rooted inequality, the kind of public services we have. Not only in India, it's also about the globe. It's also about of the even in Europe and many parts of Asia. We have witnessed the kind of a vulnerable, empathetic, in unequal health system, and then the kind of vulnerable public health, entire public institutions. And of course, I'm sure this pandemic has taught us, and all those middle class who used to think that we are growing and world largest billionaires. Now India ranks third and fourth, but on the other hand, we have seen how incapable our private health institutions are, and how they have not been not neither they helpful. There was how they have how indifferent they were into this during this crisis. Well, also pandemic has, and the corona and the crisis, it's not only about the issues of corona crisis. Is already deep rooted inequality persisted in the society. Whether it is the agitations of farmers in Delhi, close to Delhi, or the issues of manual scavenging communities, or the issues of the labor, the kind of reforms that have been taking place in the labor laws. All these are important, and as an social science, student of social science, we need to have this nuance understanding how the issues of caste, class, gender debates, and the issues of religious minorities, OBCs, and other social groups. Well, just I would like to say one or two points, and then I'll give it to our honorable chair of this today's session. Uh, just like to point out three words. As Professor Harari, Novel Yo Harari, a famous public intellectual and historian, has rightly said that he has also sort of gauged the kind of new world we are going towards, and the kind of surveillance system we have, and how the entire this pandemic has given an opportunity to the state and non-state actors to act, actors, and given a free hand to introduce a lot of surveillance system, the kind of apps we are creating, the kind of all electronic gadgets are taking, in the name of preventing corona. So that way, how the issues of sort of the privacy, the issues of surveillance, and how these interact with the larger questions of democracy, larger questions of citizens' rights. The second issues would be what would be the situations of social justice with with the corona thing. If you see the kind of the absolutely mess of public education system, universities are closed, schools are shut down, and what kind of alternating learning is taking place, which is absolutely not only it's also very funny that where the schools and the students comes from marginalized sections, which constitute roughly around 70% of our societal populations, they are almost for last 1 year, or is close to 1 year, they are far away from the books and pens, and we don't have any mechanism to engage them in the education system. So how it's going to impact the marginalized communities, especially on education front. And lastly, I would say how it's going to change the entire the questions of social and the political economy, and of course and of the kind of politics which we are experiencing. In that way, you need to have on both scholarly engagement of the corona, and the public debates on constitutional rights and democracy, on social justice. Also, you need to have an alternative ways and reasons to understand the social inequalities, and which through this perspective from the corona. So in that way, as Sainath, as you know, he's a famous rural journalist, P. Sainath, and his famous argument that it is not digital divide now, it is digital partitions. Digital divide used to be there, but now it is digital, it leads to digital partitions. So in that way, how our life is going to be, what kind of new normal, and how this new normal will negotiate with the larger idea of social, idea of political, and idea of constitutional rights. With these words, and I would like to congratulate the base team for their for organizing this conference, even at this point of time. And I remember the last year we had a conference where we had a physical conference at Ali University, with many professors and scholars, and students from across Bengal and across other parts of India. They came and gathered. Unfortunately, this time, as we know, the things we are going through, so this is the first online based conference, apart from a series of lectures which initiative taken by the base. I would like to welcome Kasim from JNU, and Sumit Mandal from University of Gujarat, and then Bhumika Sharma and Oshin Baba Khan. These are all scholars from Central University of Gujarat, one from JNU, and from Himachal Pradesh University, and from our very own from Calcutta. Well, and of course, I would like to welcome our chair, Dr. Munirul Islam. And with this word, and this is, I'm sure these deliberations will definitely help us to not only to academically engage, with these issues, but also will give a further food for thought for all the young scholars who are going to do research on the issues of crisis and after, especially with emphasis on society, culture, and politics. With these words, I'm giving the hand over this mic to chair to the chair, Dr. Munirul Islam. Thank you so much. Hassan, is it audible? Is Dr. Munirul
Yes,
Islam there? Suppose there's some technical issues, I
yes, yes, he will join, obviously. So,
okay. And I'm sure that all our guests and speakers are there, right?
yes, Dr. Monil Islam
Okay.
joined.
Yeah, thanks, Manirullah. Welcome, and please, this is over to Dr. Manirul Islam, sir.
Okay, I hope I'm audible enough. Uh,
Yes, yes.
could you please confirm? Okay, okay. Okay, thank you, Motin, and good evening to everybody. Uh, Firstly, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to chair this session, which I hope is going to be a very brainstorming thing. Uh, Considering the nature of the papers to be presented that I can see. This conference, Crisis and After, Society, Culture and Politics, I think is a very timely intervention given the current situation we're in. And I must say, I've been just going through the concept note. I must say that, the concept note is beautifully written. And I really enjoyed the clarity of thought there and the chest language, which is used to explore the ideas, the thoughts. Now, yeah, we all know that the pandemic has actually transformed our society drastically. Particularly, it has transformed the way we live, and also, because of that, the way we think. In other words, we are, in a sense, forced to reconsider, forced to rethink our human situation. So I won't be, say, speaking about the concept note or about the conference, but one or two things that I would like to point to, which I think is very important for us to remember, given the pandemic situation we're in. Now, the first thing that the pandemic did, the COVID-19 situation actually did, it actually exposed the precarious nature of existence, say human existence. And in a sense, it has been a kind of leveler. Uh, Both the rich and poor got affected. And initially, it was the rich who has a lot of mobility. Those people got affected. Uh, but the most point is it has exposed the precariousness, the precarity of human existence. And death has come to define life in a sense. But at the same time, though it has been a kind of great leveler, we must remember that it has also exposed the politics of allotting death. It has exposed the existing fault lines, so to say, in our society, and it has given us greater insights as to who is expendable or whose life is expendable and whose life is valuable. The whole issue of the migrant labor, the whole issues of education that Motin has been referring to. So, yeah, yes, some noise.
Marilda, please unmute yourself.
So, how I got muted? I mean, sorry. The So the whole thing, the mood thing is that, on the one hand, we see the pandemic as a great leveler, but at the same time, we also see that how the existing fault lines, the existing divides, it has uh, been exposed due to the pandemic, and it has given us greater insights as to whose life is expendable and whose life is valuable, the thing that I have been talking about. No, no, no. These are many other such say quote unquote negative aspects or negative sides of our society that the pandemic has exposed us to. However, I would also like to say that the pandemic has also opened up new possibilities in the sense of new ways of thinking, new ways of conceiving the human situation for the future. So this pandemic, in other words, as a crisis. It ushered into a phase of transition, not only in terms of, say, the old of materialities, but also in terms of our ideas and how, you know, we can we are forced to think how we can uh, bring in a better situation, bring in a better situation for human life, for human existence. And perhaps, uh, from my point of view, what I see that, it is not merely the human, but we have to consider the whole planetary situation as well, because this pandemic might not be the first one. It might, or the last one, rather, so to say. It we might be finding many such pandemics in the near future, especially with the climate crisis. So the onset of the Anthropocene, connected to, say, the development of capitalism, how it has in fact transformed the whole society, and how we are on the verge of a kind of apocalypse. That is something the pandemic has exposed us to. So we need to reconsider the whole situation, not only the human situation, but also the planetary situation. Now, for this session that we are going to have, I think we have many interesting papers, 5 or 6 of them. Uh, so I could see here Tania Pavin, uh, who will actually be considering the impact of the pandemic on higher education. Shumit Mandal, who would explore the ontological crisis of student life, or the studenthood has been redefined in the post-pandemic world. So and Bhumika Sharma, he'll be, and Bhumika Sharma and Rajendra Verma, they will be taking up a very interesting issue, the inadequacy of the legal system vis-a-vis the pandemic, and the need for a rethinking, or a development of a legal system that can properly address the pandemic situation. I think we also have uh, Kwasim Masumi, who will be talking about the problem of the elderly homeless people. Uh, and he does a case study of New Delhi. Now we have Pradhi Joshi, I think, who will be taking up uh, some of the theoretical ideas of Habermas and his take on crisis to understand the present critical situation. So, I mean, we all are eagerly waiting to listen to how, these scholars have been thinking about the pandemic on different aspects of human life, the way it has been affected by the pandemic. So we all are eagerly waiting to listen to them. So without, detaining our auditors, the listeners any further, I would request the session to be started. So thank you, and over to Hassan, and I request please start the business session for the day.
Thank you, Dr. Munir Islam. So now I would request